Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Part 2. Second one today. What is the Joker movie called? Is it Part 2? That new Joker, Joaquin Phoenix and Miss Stephanie Germanotti. You might know her as Lady Gaga. What is this? Joker Folly Ado. Folly Ado. Okay, Folly Ado. That's just like Part 2, I think. I don't know what Folly Ado stands for. Oh, where's Doreen? My French homie. She'd probably tell me. I think that's French. It's got to be based in Latin no matter what. She took Latin. Latin, the dead language. Curtis, what's up? JM. Oh, what's up? Anybody know what Folly Ado means? The Joker Folly Ado? If I'm even saying that right. I don't know what that means. It probably means something Part 2. We're going to talk about not only... Oh, no. Hold on. Sorry about that. We're going to talk about Lady Gaga and how a decades-old Facebook group hating on her was silenced with her stardom. And we're going to touch upon Donald Trump saying, Taylor Swift, my guy, my art brain been on fire. Curtis, you should join the Discord. Oh, and for everybody just joining, I'm Rob. I do a news commentary live stream 5 days a week. We got a cool ass Discord. Thank you, Solus, for helping build that thing out. Curtis, we're sharing some of our favorite artworks on the Discord. We got a whole art channel, whole art thread on our Discord. I was sharing one of my favorite Salvador Dali pieces. So if you get a chance, Curtis, join our Discord. Link in the description. And if you're new to the live stream, I go live, talk about news, commentary, news, comedy, satire, sarcasm, entertainment, comedy. Did I already say that? And I give commentary, so I call it newsmentary. Patent pending, copyright, TM, circle with an R. Hit subscribe if you like your news biased and commented up on. So yeah, Curtis, join the Discord. It's a cool spot to share. That's really what I like Discord is we can connect outside of the live streams and we're sharing books. We got a book club in there, YouTube channel recommendation, YouTube video recommendation, and we're sharing some audio opera, Graham Barrett, his stuff, one of my favorite shorts he's done. Art pieces, book. I'm trying to think what else. We should have a movie recommendation. That's what we got to get, Solus. A movie club, AV club, the AV club. Because we got a music one. But yeah, it's a cool little spot, Discord. If you want to join up, link down in the description. So anyways, we're going to talk about Trump telling Taylor Swift she's going to pay the price. Definitely going to talk about this Lady Gaga story from entertainmentweekly.com. And we're going to, hey, what's up, Japan? Japan is here. Go on Discord. Is that some American app? It is. Check it out. Link in the description. It's an app. It's a website. It's a spot where we can connect outside of the live stream. We can share. Who are those American people? We're just all randos. And we're going to talk about AirPods. I don't know if anybody else watched the Apple event. This is the first year in like 5 years where I missed it. I like to watch it just to kind of make fun of it. I've done a couple of videos on it. And I always like to see what Apple's finally going to do with their little cameras. Oh, you can't see it on here. What they're going to do with their cameras. Because we have the technology. They're just not utilizing it. Like if you look at what Google, Android, what they're doing with their cameras on their phones. Like we have the tech. Apple's just like dragging its ass like a dog with an itchy butt across a carpet. They are dragging ass. Apple event. We had our own in Japan. Ooh, did you? Are you really in Japan? Like for real, for real? Is that the Japanese flag for your avatar? Because we got folks from all across the world coming to the live streams. I just spoke with Darine. Big shout out to Darine, my homie out in France. Darine is in France. She came on the live stream on Tuesday. I interviewed her. We're going to set something up again. I know I got some friends out in Egypt, South Africa, New Zealand, Canada. I'm trying to think where else. There was Germany, I think, up in the live stream. Obviously, the UK. I know I just found this American app. Isn't it cool? So that's cool. If Japan is truly up in the chat, I love it. I hope you hit. Japan is very good allies with France. This live stream is more about the people, not the governments. Some might call it anti-government. But I hope Japan, you hit subscribe and the notification bell, and that you join us more often, because I would like you to meet the other members of the community, the other people in the family here. It's a rad little community we're building. And if you go to the Discord, yes, 100%, you'll get to meet some more people. I'm curious as to how the Japanese look upon the paranormal. That's the next time Darine, who's in France, comes on. I'm going to have her back on as a guest and interview her a little more. We're going to speak about the paranormal, Halloween in France. So I'd be curious to find out how the Japanese look at the ghost, the spiritual things. Very, very true. Japanese really believe in ghosts. Yeah, I know. I watch a couple Japanese YouTubers that do some paranormal stuff, but it's always interesting to me culturally how people look, if it's respected, revered, if it's kind of doubted or looked at as silly, if it's obviously things come in fads and trends, but it's always historically interesting for me to find that stuff out. So yeah, so it'd be cool. Speak with you and maybe even have you. That's what we got to do. Solus, if you watch this later, if you jump in, Solus, we got to create a paranormal channel. I can create the paranormal channel on the Discord. Wonder where everybody went. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, sometimes I do live streams and there will be 800 people in here, and sometimes there will be just you and me. Japan. Buttermilk joined the server. Maybe that's you. Yeah, so I do not know where everybody is, but you know what? I do this live stream whether there's 0 people here or 5,000 people here. I do it because I love bringing you the news. I know some people will catch it later, like Gma. Gma, if you're watching this later, salute to you. I see all the comments. I see you watching these at some point. Bandito, I am Buttermilk. Awesome. Awesome, Curtis. You joined up. We're going to start a couple more. Oh, Gma's here. Look at that. I was just giving you a shout out, saying I seen you watching the videos. Everybody say to what's up to Japan. Japan is from Japan. You didn't miss anything. Japan was just saying, where is everybody at? I said, oh, well, whether they're here or nobody's here, I still give commentary on the news. And actually, this is my second time today. This morning, if you missed it, I forget, Jacob and somebody else, Timothy Mnemonic. They were up in the live this morning. I was talking about John Bon Jovi filming a music video in Nashville, saved a woman's life. She was going to be a jumper. And there's video, the whole thing. Your wife's sister visited Japan right now. Interesting. Listen, I'll tell you what, Japan, you guys have some of the best pets in the world. My favorite dog is the Akita. I had an Akita, but I had like the American Akita. Actually, she was pretty Japanese looking. I would say she looked more like the Japanese Akita. Most beautiful dog I've ever had, the greatest dog I've ever had in my life. This dog was basically a nanny to my baby. Well, she's not my baby. Or she's still my baby, but she's going to be 11 soon. But Japan has the Akita. And if you don't know what Akita is, look it up. They were bred for royalty, and they hunted I forget what kind of bears were in the hills, the foothills of Japan, but they were bred to defend against the bears in Japan, and they also were left at home to watch the children. Duh, that's called a sister-in-law. Or as my buddy LB used to say, outlaw. Your sister outlaw. The outlaws. I love that he called it that. John is a fellow Gen Xer, just saying. All right, so let's get into a little bit of this news. I think we got a few heads in here. Hopefully Japan's still in here. Maybe disappeared. What time is it in Japan right now? Let's see. Hawaii, it's 6 hours. So in Hawaii, it's almost 5 o'clock. So I'm guessing in Japan, it's got to be early afternoon. I'm guessing. I don't know. That's fascinating. That's one of the time zones I don't have in my phone. And I have time zones across the world. Bandito, what's your sister doing in Japan? Just on vacation? Doing anything cool? Going to see anything cool? All right. Let's talk about the AirPods first. I didn't watch the Apple event. I don't know what's going to be the iPhone 16. I'm guessing it's going to just be exactly the 15 with a new version of cinematic mode, probably. I don't even care at this point. I'm kind of getting upset that Apple isn't doing anything really breakthrough. But then this rolled along. This story from, let's see, I put 2 down in the description. I always put the links down in the description as well. So you can read these, because these 2 are fascinating. One is from TechCrunch. The other one's from The Verge. Apple AirPods Pro granted FDA approval to serve as hearing aids. Incredible. Not exactly sure. Sounds like she's covering some ground, though. Oh, that's cool. Travel the whole country. That's how you got to do it. And listen, you got to, here's the thing. Like, when people, because I lived in Hawaii for a while, and they go, oh, I want to go there. I go, don't go for a week. If you're going to go to Hawaii, Japan, somewhere maybe you haven't been, or somewhere where you really need to take some time and, feel the space of the area, you got to do at least 14 days. I know that's like unheard of in America nowadays, but really, like, what can you get out of a place where the time zone is so drastically different in 7 days? You lose 2 days just to jet lag. And if you don't get jet lag, you're still losing a lot of travel time. You have to do these kind of vacations in 14 to 21 days. 3 weeks. I agree with that. 3 weeks. That should be typical. Every American should get 2 3-week vacations a year. Fully paid. Everything covered. Every American. And they should be encouraged to go outside the country to see how other countries live. That's my platform. If I was at the debate with Trump and Kamala, Miss Harris, if you're in her prosecutional district, that's what I would have said. I would have said, the government's going to be, with your taxes, we're going to stop paying for Israel's health care, stop sending bombs everywhere, and what we're going to do is give every American 2 fully paid 3-week vacations. One in the summer, one in the winter. The winter one, if you just want to stay with family, that's fine, but the summer one, it's your obligation to go see how other people live across the world. Spend 3 weeks, stay with the local, don't even Airbnb it. Find a family to stay with so you can eat the food, celebrate what they celebrate, see the daily rigmarole of whatever they got going on, go to some local spots with them. That's what I would be pushing for. Had a recurring dream about Mount Fuji my whole life. Oh, Bandito, we need to look into that, my friend. I'll break out one of the dream books. I don't know if it'll have Mount Fuji in there. If it has Mount Fuji in there, that's fucking wild. So Bandito, let's put a toothpick in that, and we'll talk about that in the Discord. Another plug for the Discord. Join the Discord. Shit, Solus, we need to have a dream, what's it called? When they break down the dreams. Dream interpretation thread. All right, so what did I say? Dream interpretation, paranormal, and AV club, movie club. Thank you, Bandito. That's good. Oh, free counseling. Oh my God. Thank you. Yes. All right. Dream journal. Yep. Great stuff. See, this is why you got to join the Discord, because you guys are creating it as much as I am. This is amazing. No, not a dream journal, but I like that. We should have a dream journal and then a dream interpretation. And people can just give their own thoughts. I have some dream interpretation books. I have to find them. But it'd be even funnier if people just explained what they thought a recurring dream of Mount Fuji meant. And the free counseling one, Bandito, you know. All right. So, Apple AirPods Pro granted FDA approval. Even though the iPhone 16 took center stage at Apple's It's Glow Time event. Awful name. Oh my God, my dog is farting. I don't know if you could hear that. That was so loud. Oh, I can't turn the camera. She's farting in her sleep. Jesus, dog. It's going to stink in here. My goodness. You are ruthless, you know that? Ruthless, I say. Oof. Oh, you can taste that one. Gross. Just a little advice. I don't have an Akita now, but my God, if you get a French Bulldog or a French Tin, Boston Terrier Frenchie, whew, drop some of my latest pieces in the Discord. Oh, awesome. Rad. We will check them out. All right, so sea of new hardware came in as an intriguing software to the AirPods Pro 2. So it's not the AirPods, it's the AirPods Pro 2. Apple announced that its most premium earbuds would double as an over-the-counter hearing aid, courtesy of a software update pending approval from the USDA. But then they say the FDA on Thursday, so that's today, announced that it has granted what it calls the first OTC, over-the-counter, hearing aid software device, hearing aid feature. Specifically, it has approved the software update that enables its functionality. This is cool, but Apple does go on to say, where is it? The hearing aid functions by adjusting different frequency levels in order to amplify key sounds such as the human voice. I think it's the other article in The Verge where they describe it as a mid. Yep, the feature was evaluated in a clinical study with 118 subjects with perceived mild to moderate hearing loss. So this is not like a professional hearing aid, but it will serve for those with mild to moderate hearing loss, which is cool. And then if you go on Reddit like I do, one step closer to real-time language translation, Bandito, I'm telling you, I cannot wait for I just hope I see it in my lifetime. 118 whole people. I know you think Apple could do it for more than 118 whole people. But here's the good thing. This isn't like Elon Musk's neurochip brain implants where they're killing, 20 billion monkeys, sending them to the moon after so nobody can find them. This is just something that you put in your ears. And if it works, I'm sure people will use it. And if it doesn't, people will just use them for what they usually use them for, listening to music, podcasts, all that stuff. But it's cool because do you remember back in the day, they used to have infomercials. I know some of you remember the infomercials. You would get the infomercials for like not the hearing aids, but like the supersonic hearing. And then you go to CVS or Walgreens and you see like they would sell what looked like a hearing aid, but it was meant to hear people whispering about you across the room. I always thought those were so cool. I never had them, but I wonder if these functionality features for the AirPods, is that what they're called? I always call them earpods. The AirPod Pro 2, if this mild to moderate hearing aid feature will also work as a hyped up listening device. Is that weird? Amplifier, yeah. I wonder if it will work like that. Like if you could just turn it on, even if you don't have the hearing loss, just to see what people are saying around the room, the area, your work. If you need to listen in on an important conversation because your boss is, saying some stuff, you want to pop those in. Say, no, I'm just listening to the latest Joe Rogan podcast. Right. The free thinkers who all think alike. Uh, and then you crank those on and you listen to what everybody's saying. Shit, I want to get these now. I bet you could do that. But it's cool because if you're on Reddit, like I am, and you like to read the comments to get people's input on these news stories, if you like to get comment, I like to get commentary on my news, okay? That's why I love doing this show. And the commentary in Reddit is always chef's kiss, top notch. Uh, or what you don't know you're listening to. Uh, so Reddit, there are people who obviously a billion critics, but some of the people were saying that they were very excited because they might be able to use their, I think their health savings accounts or their spending accounts on their insurance plan to maybe purchase these if the FDA has approved it for that feature, which I hope they can. They can use their savings account through their health insurance to purchase these and use them as a hearing aid because hearing aids, I guess, cost about $3,500, which is fucking bananas. And these people were saying that insurance won't cover the hearing aids for them, which is in bananas. Because you figure hearing is definitely something insurance should be covering, should be helping you with. Ears should not be a luxury like your luxury bones. Not critic, just critical, very critical on Reddit. But I love it. You know, if you take it all with a grain of salt and don't get emotionally attached to any of these people, that's always the funniest thing when people get really hyped up over something. I go, what is your emotional attachment to this person you've never met on the internet that has a um, handle with a little like handlebar mustache and his name is like Dick Cheese or something, you know? And that's like real on Reddit. People get very emotionally attached. I say detach from that. Detach from these comments. Uh, but some of the people talking about how, you know, spending $35 for hearing aids is out of control, especially when it's all out of pocket. And that Apple releasing this into the market might force these hearing aid companies, which sounds like a monopoly, sounds like they have the monopoly on how much they can charge for hearing aids, like everything in America. And this being introduced might force them to drop their prices, which is amazing, you know, because nobody should be paid well for being able to hear. Offended for the sake of others is crazy behavior, 100%. Um, so there were a lot of people, and the cool thing is people were commenting on that $3,500 hearing aid comment and saying, "Oh, if you go to Costco, you can get them for $1,200," which I was like, that's still a crazy price. I always thought hearing aids were like a couple hundred, like the price of AirPod Pro 2s. Because what the AirPod Pros? How much are they? 250? I don't even think it says it in here. They can't be over $300. Let's put it like that, right? The AirPod Pro 2, not going to be over $300. That's why I figured hearing aids were. I had no idea $3,500. That's bananas. That was the other reason why when Mr. Beast made that video about people who were like legally blind or just needed a surgery to see, like they had the ability to heal their blindness, their legal blindness, and he did it and made a video and capitalized off it. And then he commented on Twitter. He made a tweet saying, "I don't see why the government doesn't help with this. The return on investment, the ROI," he said, on helping people see to heal their blindness is like exponential, you know? And people were like, "Yeah, dummy. That's why we want universal health care. That's, you know, everything that's wrong. Thank God you're starting to wake up." Turns out he's a horrible person and, you know, ain't gonna learn nothing. He just likes to use people's vulnerability in their bad circumstances to make himself richer. But Apple will find a way to mark that price to 400 easily. Easily they will. Apple and that's what concerned me. All the people saying like, "Oh, if Apple introduces this into the market, it will make the price of real hearing aids come down." And I thought, well, probably not really. If anything, Apple's going to capitalize, appropriate word, capitalize on this new feature and probably bump their price up. So it usually never works out for the consumer. It's always usually for the CEO. But I thought that was so cool, because there are people out there that probably just have like mild to moderate hearing loss, like described, of the 118 people's, done in this trial. And for them to have help with just something that they could purchase that's not $3,000 is amazing. I love hearing when people get helped out like that. And especially in day-to-day stuff. Like this is something. I have AirPods that are like 6 years old and I still keep them in all day. 1K is Apple's goal, low end minimum. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It's gonna suck. So listen, if you can find them now for a good retail price and you're in the market, do it now. All right, let's briefly touch this Donald Trump story that I didn't speak on earlier. Him commenting on Taylor Swift, because Donald Trump for once spoke some truth, which is hilarious. Actually, let me see how much are. I just want to look up AirPod Pros real quick. AirPod. Oh, okay. I can't type. Aoid. Jesus, this AirPod Pro 2. Let me just see. I'm gonna get the price. Official site. Let's go right to Apple. And let's see what they say. Okay, I don't need a fucking video. Jesus. Oh, and they're already promoting it on their website. And it froze. Can I just go to the buy link? My God, Apple. You're exhausting. $249 for the AirPod Pro 2. $249 without the engraving. Who's engraving their earphones? Yeah, and they already got the hearing aid stuff in there. $249. That's not a bad price. I mean, it's crazy because it's headphones, but the hearing aid feature, not a bad price. But again, that's nuts for headphones. Like, they should not be $250. Like, Jesus Christ, I had to work a month to earn that. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm going to be so rich one day. Let's talk about this. Donald Trump says Taylor Swift, and then we're gonna get to the Joker, Folly Ado, Joaquin Phoenix, if you remember that commercial, and Stephanie Germanotti, aka Miss GaGa, Lady Gaga. Not horribly bad. Not bad at all. $250. I mean, it's horrible because it's headphones, but not horribly bad for headphones that function as a hearing aid. And now I really want them to see if I could turn the hearing aid feature on and hear what people are saying around me. I really want that. Like, to try that. I don't know. All right, so we'll talk about Lady Gaga and the hate group. Her old college roommates made a Facebook, or not roommates, but people she went to college with, made a whole Facebook group on how she wouldn't be famous. They were not only wrong, but probably look like assholes right now. Another thing Facebook is amazing for, starting hate groups. But first, let's talk about Donald Trump actually speaking some truth for once. I couldn't believe this. Donald Trump says Taylor Swift will pay a price for endorsing Kamala Harris. I don't really think Taylor Swift's going to actually pay a price for it, but I just think that sentiment is true. Donald Trump, after Swift endorsed Kamala Harris, Trump said, what did he say? Wait. It was just a question of time. She, meaning Swift, couldn't possibly endorse Biden. You look at Biden, you couldn't possibly endorse him, Trump said during an interview on the daily morning news program Fox and Friends. He continued on, but she's a very liberal person. She seems to always endorse a Democrat, and she'll probably pay a price for it in the marketplace, he added. Which is true. The sentiment. I don't think Taylor Swift personally will pay any kind of price. She's not going to lose. People aren't going to go, no, I'll not go to the Taylor Swift concert because she endorsed Miss Harris. That's not going to happen. I personally know some parents who are no longer going to let their kids listen to Taylor Swift anymore. That is fucking hilarious. And I personally don't know, but know Curtis, who knows them, of some kids who are definitely going to keep listening to Taylor Swift and like her even more because their parents told them not to. That's just how childhood goes. Taylor Swift will suffer financially. Okay, Donnie. Yeah, so I don't think she's gonna suffer like he wants her to. In fact, just tonight when I was reading the news, Trump already has released a parody T-shirt, like a Trump parodying the Taylor Swift Errors tour T-shirt. So it's Trump and all the errors, imaging, logos, coloring, but it says MAGA at the bottom. So he's already trying to like capitalize off of her and try to steal her ideas. Which I wonder if there's going to be a lawsuit involved in that. If I wonder like how far he went into the copyright stuff, but um, I think his sentiment, like I think the reason why so many people don't do what Taylor Swift does, and I've heard Bill Burr said this at one point. He was asked in an interview how he goes after the left and right, and he kind of just straddles the fence. And it was asked in an interview like it was kind of complimenting him, which I thought was dumb. Like, that's not a good compliment. And Bill Burr kind of took it in stride and like, yeah, well, they're both kind of crazy, which is true. But there are certain things like, and Bill Burr's got a black wife and, biracial kids. So there's certain things you don't compromise on, like racism. So Trump's sentiment when it comes to him saying like she'll pay a price in the marketplace is really why so many people don't either when they don't speak out, and they should, or they claim, like I've been saying this for a while, right? I gave Olivia Rodrigo huge props because she at her concerts were setting up like these political vendor style setups to, I forget what it was about. It was basically about like a woman's right to choose for her body, whatever it was, long story short, it's something political like that. And for any, like I was saying this with Taylor Swift, I was like, why isn't Taylor Swift speaking out? She's got songs talking about if I was a man. She wants to pretend or write songs about being pro-woman and feminist and all that. But the most feminist thing you could do is speak out. That's how feminism became a mainstream thing. It wasn't because, people were just writing songs about it. It was because people were in the streets. People were activists. People were organizing women, the suffragettes and all that stuff. There were a lot of women activists that bled, that shed sweat, tears, blood, everything, gave their lives for the cause. And I've been saying, Taylor, you need to be speaking up. And I always thought that when people don't, like Dave Grohl, I think Dave Grohl's the perfect embodiment of this. He just said the other day that whether you're red or blue, when you come to my show, everybody sings Learning to Fly Together. And I said, Dave, you're such an asshole. You sat behind Kurt Cobain, playing drums for him. You were the backbone, the beat to his music. And you knew Kurt said, if you are a homophobe, a misogynist, a racist, don't buy our CD. He said, don't buy it. We don't want you to listen to our music. He did not mince words. He didn't straddle a fence. He didn't say, if you're a racist outside the stadium, it's fine. Just when you come in, you all sing Smell Like Teen Spirit. Kurt didn't say that. Why? Because he wasn't concerned about making sure he got money at the end of the night. He was more concerned about people, humanity, standing up for the right thing. And Dave Grohl, literally, the other week, you can look it up, I did a live stream. And Dave Grohl said in an interview, he said, no matter where you are in the political spectrum, when they come to my show, they all sing Learning to Fly, times like these together. And then they can go outside and throw rocks at each other or whatever they're doing, starting culture wars. I'm like, Dave, you are such a weak piece of shit. I love your music, still a fan of your music, but as a human, don't like you. Or I'm starting to more and more not like him. All right, hold on. I'm missing some of the stuff. Put the fun in fundamentalism. Don't groom your kids to support traders. That's true. She's not feminist. There are a lot of women worldwide wondering where feminism is. That's true. She re-released her albums to compete with other similar female artists. Well, listen, I don't know all the Taylor Swift story, but I do know the surface layer stuff. And one big surface layer thing was for me, like, if you're gonna pretend to have, or shouldn't say pretend, if you're gonna have these feminist vibe anthems on your albums and pretend to champion women's rights and then not speak out when all the stuff that's going on. Like, I got some friends who are gay, right? And we were talking about voting. And I said, man, I just can't even vote this year. I don't know. And he said, you're lucky. He said, I have to. And that was powerful for me. And I said, you know what? I usually do vote for people who are in a position where, I need to speak for them through my vote. Because for me, it's like, I can't do the lesser of two evil thing, lesser of two evils. In fact, last time I voted, it was for somebody I love very much because she kept pushing me for, you got to vote, you got to vote. And I didn't want to, but I did it because of her, because it meant something to her. It meant nothing to me. I don't give a shit. It's a corporate duopoly. And that kind of pushed me, that conversation with somebody who believed their rights are on the line. And they very well could be in this election. It spoke to me like nothing else did. And I went, shit, man, that's the stuff we got to fight for. And with Taylor Swift having what? So many followers. I forget how many millions. And to pretend like, I champions women's rights. I want to be for women. I want to be inspirational to little girls. Well, then use your platform to say, like, if women should be in control of their own bodies, we need to vote for XYZ. I don't think the Democrats are going to uphold that. Proof's in the pudding. But I know the Republicans are going to do everything they can to take a woman's right to choose away. A woman's right to her body. That's just how it's already going. So at least Taylor Swift's speaking up now, which I think is amazing and commendable. And I think the reason she didn't before, maybe, or I know the reason people don't, is because like Bill Burr, like Dave Grohl, at the end of the day, they're rich. So these laws that we normal working people have to deal with, those laws don't affect wealthy people. So it doesn't affect Taylor, because if she ever needed to have the right to choose, she could fly in her private plane to anywhere in the world where that law doesn't affect her anymore. So for her, it didn't affect her personally, and that's really what bugged me. It's like, it's not about you anymore. It's about your niece, it's about your sister, it's about your mother, it's about your daughter, it's about your neighbors, right? So it bugs me when these rich people like Dave Grohl is like, who cares? Because none of these laws, none of these political things affect him. Because he's Dave Grohl, and if he don't like it, he'll move out of the country. If he don't like it, he needs to bypass the law. He can fly somewhere. He can do this. He's got the fame on his side. So why would he ever care what's affecting him? He's not a young black male having to deal with the police. So why would he care if there's a culture war started? As long as people buy tickets to his show, like he said, and come and sing together, and then they can leave and go be corrupt cops or fucking traitors to America or whatever. He said, because at that point, I live in a gated community. My kids go to private schools, so I don't deal with any of your reality. And that's really what bugs me. MAGA will buy anything and everything with his name. That is very true. I'm a fence sitter. Every single policy deserves its own specific thought process. I don't know if every single policy deserves its own specific thought process. And because, Curtis, do you believe that with a woman's right to choose? Like, there's no thought process into that. A woman should be in control of her own body. If right now the ability for a man to choose whether at 18 he gets sterilized or not, he gets neutered, if that was on the table, men would be up in arms. They'd be like, how can you tell me what to do with my body? So not every single policy deserves its own thought. There are certain policies, civil rights, no thought process. If our country says, like, all men are created and endowed equally by their creator. And then you got the 3/5 clause. Like, there's some shit that don't make sense, right? So not every single, but again, you have your own thoughts. I'm not telling you. I'm just telling you that fence sitters, my opinion on fence sitters, are fence sitters sit on a fence, especially when it comes to celebrities that don't speak out. They do it because they don't want to affect their wallet, right? They like to be rich because laws don't apply to the wealthy. But fence sitters, usually what it means to me is to be able to sit on a fence must mean you have nothing in between your legs. Because you cannot fucking think that there are two sides to racism, misogyny, homophobia. There's just not two sides to it. There's not, as Trump put it, good people on both sides. There just isn't. You know, if we were talking about the right for a woman to vote, the right for a black man to vote, I'm trying to think what else through the years. Just I know one right now is like a woman's right to be able to control her own body, like, shouldn't be up for debate. That's not a fucking thing. Like, whatever a woman wants to do, medical procedure or not, she gets to do. This is not like, this is just put it in context of, like, if they were trying to regulate a man's body, right? And I mean it, like, they were trying to say, like, well, if a man has let's put it like this. A man has a baby out of wedlock. Looking at you, Dave Grohl, right? Because this whole nation wants everybody to be Christians and you got to get married. And even though the people that are pushing for that shit, the marriage and da-da-da, most of them are cheaters or whatever, worse. But let's say that right now the regulation wasn't on a woman's body, but it was on a man's body. And any man that has a kid out of wedlock or doesn't pay his child support or doesn't XYZ, whatever the hypothetical we want to come up with is, has to be neutered. Would you think that's even a debate? You'd go, this is my body. There's no fucking way you're doing that. But somehow it's game on for women? Us getting to say what women could do with their body? Horseshit. Issues of critical thinking, man. Oh, sorry, I'm not reading the comments. Government never should have come into play. Yeah, 100%. Bandito, you saying I have issues? I love Bandito. Issues of critical thinking. Listen, we're all at different spaces in life. Some of us, like, let me explain it like this. Let's remove the politics for a second. I consider every situation as its own. The two-party system is pro wrestling, 100%. But every situation really isn't debatable. You know, that's like, it's just not real, okay? And I just want you to think, because 60 years ago, the issue was civil rights and whether, you know, like voting laws and all those things. And people thought that was like a debatable issue. There was a big contingent of people that were like, why are we giving black people civil rights? Like, there was pushback. Just look at, my daughter's been watching the Ruby Bridges movie on Disney Plus. There were little kids going to school with the National Guard because white people were like, not in our town, not in our school. That's insane. And there were people at the time saying, that's insane. This is not up for debate. Like, black kids should be able to go wherever white kids go. So that's what I'm saying. There are some things, Curtis, that just are not a fucking debate. I understand if you want to consider issues, but there are some issues that, when it comes to a woman's right to choose what happens to her body, civil rights, like, there are just some things that just are made up. Like, rich, wealthy white guys decided it should be debatable. Decided like, that's what America is. It's founding, and this is the whole thing, you know? It's like they decided that in the Constitution they could say all men are created equal, and then have the 3/5 clause that a black man was 3/5 of a human. So those two things existed. The only reason that was a debate is because rich white men decided we could debate on this. We can decide that. So that's what I mean. No, some don't have a thought process. I see what you're saying. That some are very easy, but some don't have a thought process. And I know, yeah, the tribalism, us versus them politics. Yeah, I get that. But the tribalism has also made you believe that every issue, it's made the centrist popular. Tribalism has made centrism popular, and centrism is fucking poison. Okay, because if you tell yourself enough, I got to consider every single issue, and then one comes up like women's rights, and you're like, let's debate that. It's like, no, there's no conversation here. There's none. It's not a fucking issue. Rich white people, misogynists, put that up as some fake issue, and it's not. And that's all I'm saying. So tribalism made centrism popular. Centrism is some bullshit. There are things that can be discussed and debated, but there are a lot that are on the table that just shouldn't be. Like banning books. I don't give a fuck what book it is. You don't ban it. That's not a debate. There was no debate here. Like, you can't literally say we're the land of the free, but then ban books. That's not an issue. But centrists will have you believe, like, oh, let's look at what books. No, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. It doesn't matter what the fucking book says. When I was growing up, we had the Anarchist Cookbook. Nobody's trying to ban that. And that thing's been around forever. You can still get it on Amazon, I believe, or don't shop Amazon, eBay. But that's not even one they're trying to ban. So this is what I mean. Like, there are some things that they've fooled you into believing every single issue needs to be considered with thought, and not all of them done. Some of you could just hear and go, no, that's stupid. Who made that up? Women's rights to choose. Oh, no, she has the right to choose. Why is that a debate? And we need to reject that. So Donald is, so to wrap this back to where we started, Trump was actually right when he said she'll probably pay a price for it in the marketplace. Not necessarily that Taylor Swift will lose any money. She won't. If anything, she'll just make more. But he was right in the sentiment that anyone you see right now not standing up for things like women's rights or LGBTQ plus rights, or I'm trying to think what else people are thinking are on the ballot. Anything like that. Anyone else you hear not speaking up, just in one way. Like, I speak up and I say, I fucking hate both of these candidates. They both suck. The only one I like is Tim Walz. So if you're not speaking up, if you're trying to stay quiet so everybody will buy tickets to your show and sing your songs, then, you value money more than anything else. Misinformation is everywhere, not disinformation. That is true. And those are very different things. Misinforming people and disinforming people are very different. Polarization being multiplied by the religion is xenophobia. Yeah. Okay, I want to talk about this Lady Gaga story. If you have not seen, I'm not really on Facebook often. Lady Gaga responds to college peers' viral Facebook group predicting she'd never be famous and says you can't give up. I love this. Now, I'll say, I love Lady Gaga. What does she call her fans? Little monsters? I'll be a Swiftie, a little monster. I love all these artists. But I don't really like the movies she's in. The Star is Born or whatever. I know it was big. I saw it. It was okay. Her voice is amazing. She's an incredibly talented musician, singer, artist, actress. I even think she's a good actress. Just the movies are just not good. Oh, I guess ticket sales, box office are good. In my opinion, not good again. This is a biased news commentary channel. I know it's not a popular opinion. Now it says Gaga reacted to a TikTok post highlighting the infamous Facebook group titled Stephanie Germanotti, You Will Never Be Famous. How cold is that? Like, think about that for a second. Imagine if peers that you went to college with started an entire Facebook group called Stephanie Germanotti, You Will Never Be Famous. People are ruthless. Curtis, I don't tolerate racism, which on both sides. Yup, it's true. Sexism, which on both sides. 100%. 100%. Um, but could you fathom that? If like you were working your tail off to, and she went to, Lady Gaga went to, what was it, the Juilliard School? It says it in this article somewhere. Where does it say it? Oh, no, 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 not Julia. New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. That sounds posh. Tisch School of the Arts. Before withdrawing in 2005 to pursue a career in music and acting. Um, Now that I say what college she went to, the New York University Tisch School of the Arts, I could totally see some douchebags there making a Facebook group called Stephanie Germanati, You Will Never Be Famous. That is so cold, though. Like, think about that. Somebody, there were, no, enough people were like, let's make a whole group about one girl saying you won't be famous. And that one girl was Lady Gaga. Maybe the term fence sitter is also wrong. I don't know about that. Because I think when it comes to Dave Grohl, he's a fence sitter. He's got nothing in his nethers, and money has him by the short and curlies. He has no soul when it comes to, like, just comparatively. And someone got mad at me in the comments, like, you know what, Dave Grohl doesn't da-da-da like Kurt Cobain because he's not, and he doesn't want to be. And I'm like, yeah, but if you're that close to someone, right? Like, how can that not rub off on you? Like, if you were that close to witnessing the greatness that was Kurt and how he stood for what he believed in, how could you just totally overlook that shit and be like, as long as people are buying our stuff? And it's just the antithesis of what Nirvana stood for, you know? It's the antithesis of punk rock, which Dave Grohl claims to come from. It just makes his whole story seem like a sham. So, glad I'm old. Have paper yearbook. Yeah, you didn't have to deal with a Facebook yearbook. This is crazy though, because it really bugs me that like the Tisch, we gotta shame the New York University Tisch School of the Arts. What shitty people go there? That, Jesus. Well, again, this is like the dawn of Facebook. Because we're talking about 2005 she dropped out, so what was this, 2004? Was Facebook even a thing? I think MySpace was then. Facebook didn't even crack the scene until 2008, so how is this? I don't understand that. When was Facebook? Hold on. I gotta look that up now. That's bugging me. When did Facebook come out? February 4th, 2004. You're kidding me. I don't know. I find this story suspect. I'm going to say it right now. I don't think this story is as true as it wants to be. Because it says Mark Zuckerberg and his Harvard roommates launched Facebook, calling it The Facebook, on February 4th, 2004. There's no way that these people made a Facebook group before 2005 when she... And were there even groups then? They must have made... No. Entertainment Weekly. Cite your sources. Are you getting all of this from TikTok? Gaga reacted to a TikTok post highlighting the infamous Facebook group titled Stephanie Germanati, You Will Never Be Famous. It says Lady Gaga responded to a shady years-old Facebook group made by her college peers who predicted she'd never be famous. Gaga posted a comment Wednesday under a TikTok video that highlighted the group titled Stephanie Germanati, You Will Never Be Famous, which her fans have regularly posted about over the years ever since she first reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with her single Just Dance in 2009. She says, some people I went to college with made this way back when. The 38-year-old said of the group, which bears her government name in its title. I love when people call names government name. This is why you can't give up when people doubt you or put you down. Gotta keep going. Which, I mean, I love the story. That's why I read this, and that's why I liked it, and I wanted to talk about it. But, damn. if that timeline isn't suspect, Entertainment Weekly, I need to see your sources, man. I don't see any link to the post, the Facebook group itself, nothing. This might be fake news, folks. I don't know how much more we could talk about when it comes to that. Entertainment Weekly, cite your sources. For real. Um, that's so crazy though, because the only reason I knew that timeline well is because I was on a radio show in San Diego in 2004, and it wasn't until like 2005, 6 that people started pressing me to get a Facebook, and I was on MySpace at the time, and I refused. I didn't want to join Facebook, and I relented maybe around 2007 or 6. But I don't remember there being groups and all that. Like, this might be, well, if they're saying fans have been talking about this for years, maybe it's true. Maybe my timeline is messed up. But either way, it's cool that Lady Gaga was like, yep, don't let them, because that's a good lesson, right? Look at me. I'm here in my 40s. There are people that are on the radio in Boston today that want me to be quiet, would not want me to be doing this. They'd be happier if I just sat at home and did nothing, that I stopped trying, that I stopped going applying for jobs in radio. They just wish I would quit, and I won't. And I'm here. And if you've subscribed or if you stop by, please subscribe. Help me make my dreams come true. I would love doing this news commentary channel. I love debating. I love to have the conversations. I love putting a toothpick in it. I like speaking with people of all different perceptions, narratives, opinions, right? Like Curtis. I don't know why the mod is shitting on me is all. I stay respectful. I participate the fuck. Oh, Bandito. Don't let Bandito bother you. I was just about to say, Curtis knows we could have conversations. And that's all it is. You know, conversations. Don't get emotionally attached. If anything, take away from it. I'm also respectful, but impatient. That's right, Bandito is. You won't be banned for expressing yourself. That's very true either. You won't get banned. You will. I put a couple people in a 2-day timeout. I don't know how to ban them, but the other day because they were saying racist stuff. That's how you get kicked out of this. You say some racist, misogynist, homophobic stuff, we just get rid of you. But opinions, or having a conversation, well, that's how people grow. Well, you do kind of yell at people, don't you agree with just that? Jiba, listen, I'm from New England. You ain't heard me yell yet. This is how I have conversations. And it can be shocking for people outside of the region. But I'll say this. Lady Gaga's story with this Facebook group, if it's real, is inspiring. You know, for her to say, like, just don't quit. Doesn't matter if people are making an entire Facebook group hating on you. The Facebook group was titled with her government name saying, you will never be famous. And she became Lady Gaga. Again, this might be like an origin backstory that she's trying to get out there. I don't know. It's a little suspect. Probably shouldn't be a part of a commentary conversation channel when you're so impatient. Oh, no. Bandito's good, man. The chat is the crossroads of ideas. Thank you. It is. But listen, impatient. Maybe I missed some of this stuff. But I think everything political is going to get touchy. Mostly because people get tied to it, you know? Whether it's whatever your belief is. And I say try to step back. It's okay. Everyone's just having a conversation. And really, I want to focus on this Lady Gaga thing. Because not only is maybe this story a little PR for her, a little good PR with her friend, her fans helping out. If not, which I totally, when I first read this article, I thought it was totally real. Now the timeline's messing me up. But it's just incredible because as talented as she is, she's in horrible movies. This new Joker, I watched. There's another trailer. Again, I put the link in the description to the stories that we're talking about. And they had another trailer for the Joker Folly Do Part 2, whatever. Lady Gaga looks great in it. But this movie looks absolutely atrocious. Is it a musical? Are they going to have Joaquin Phoenix sing? Because I don't want to see that. And why does he have to be so rail thin? Why does he have to go, all Christian Bale in whatever that movie was, where he looked like he was anorexic? You know what I'm talking about? Like, this Joker movie is taking itself way too seriously to be a Joker movie, and I think too many people appreciate that about this, and it just looks horrible. But within that, fight ignorance with facts. Yeah, I agree with that. But within that Joker Folly Ado looking absolutely atrocious. Like, just brutal. It was brutal to watch the trailer. Like the dancing, we get it. He's a crazy person. Um, Lady Gaga looks spectacular in the role. Like they're definitely there. I think they're, because the first Joker wasn't like a musical. This one looks more like they're angling it to be more of a musical. And I think maybe because Lady Gaga's in it, like they're like, hey, if you have Lady Gaga in a movie, you gotta make her sing, right? You fucking, bring her into the flick and not have a fucking song like in the sha la 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 lows. You gotta do it if you got Lady Gaga on the cast. The first one was too dark. See, I could only watch like 10 minutes of it. No, maybe I watched like 20 minutes of it. And it was exhausting to watch Joaquin Phoenix acting, if that makes any sense. Like, you could tell, like, for me, I was watching it going, oh, Joaquin Phoenix is acting as the Joker and he's loving himself right now. Like, I watch that movie and when he smirks, it signals to me like, oh, he's like, people adore me for my role as the Joker. And I'm in my head going, Heath Ledger did it so much better. He was so committed to the role. Like, you are acting, my friend. Heath Ledger fucking became the Joker. Trying my best. Bandito's just glad. Gaga and Swift are icons for reasons I'll never understand. Well, you gotta understand the art. Like, that's the one thing that if it's a song or even like I'm saying with Lady Gaga, I think the movies she's in are horrible. But I also understand that she's a good actress and singer in those movies. Like, just like whoever wrote the movie like fucking did an awful job, or whatever the movie's plot was, or maybe like the other casting, but her within it. So you got to respect like the art form within the culture, So like Taylor Swift, there's some stuff of hers that I just don't get, obviously. But I understand why she's so popular, Same with Lady Gaga. Like, when she came out with, what was it, the meat dress? I'm trying to think the other crazy shit she did. But that was like art. She was pushing the boundaries of what people would accept. And she was doing it in a fantastic way, And I can just respect the artist side of that. Whether or not, like, there's some songs of hers, or I'm not like a huge little monster. And like I said, the movies she's in are certainly not the best. And I'm kind of bummed that she's doing this Joker, because obviously she's going to want it to be good. And obviously Joaquin Phoenix, I just feel like Joaquin Phoenix is so full of himself. And the horrible thing is, like, watching the movies, I feel like I'm watching Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker. When you watch Heath Ledger playing the Joker, I don't see Heath Ledger. Like, I don't. I see the Joker. I see Joaquin Phoenix trying to play crazy, trying to play the Joker, trying to, play up, like, I don't know. He's really playing to the crowd in that one. Let's just say that. Oh, that's good. You guys are working it out. Always attack the ideas, never the people, unless those people are racist. Then both. Oh, man. All right. I'm really bummed about reading that Lady Gaga article because now I got to do some more digging. I took it at face value. Entertainment Weekly, cite your sources because I'm calling shenanigans. Facebook group in 2004? Really? I don't even think they added groups till like 2010. I'm not even going to look it up right now because I'm exhausted. It's almost the crack of midnight. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys. Gma, good to see you. Always appreciate you leaving comments on stuff. Bandito, always a pleasure. And Curtis, I'm glad nobody got too upset. Remember, it's just a chat. That's the real struggle, Curtis. I know exactly what you mean by that. See, and that's what I always try to boil it down to. That for me, what is the most important thing. That's why I hate fucking Republicans and the Democrats. Because for me, it's about the people. And I know both those parties don't represent the people. They abandoned the people a long time ago when Citizens United became a thing. And when you abandon the people, that's what the biggest thing that bugs me. Because you see people like Elon Musk right now tweeting shit about the housing crisis and how he thinks they're not going to build any more houses if Kamala Harris is elected. And I'm like, the housing crisis isn't about building houses. The housing crisis is about unaffordability. No one can afford to buy a home anymore. Something Elon Musk has no idea. He fucking couldn't tell you, how much a water bill is, an electric bill. So these people are so disconnected from reality, they have to go off what they think things are. And then what it ends up boiling down to is fear mongering. You got to be scared. And when you're in the midst of it, you can see through the bullshit. And most of us working class people are in the midst of it. Some of us have a little wool pulled over our eyes, but through conversations, we can pull that wool back. We can get each other back on course, and we can all come to understand that it's not about, sometimes there isn't a debate involved. It's just about human decency. Like when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to anybody's rights. When it comes to, whether it's who you want to marry or your choice about your body, like shit, man. You can't call this the land of the free and then deny people access to basic healthcare, stuff like that. So, Lily, don't be a culture war casualty. I like that saying. I like that. And then we got to also recap because Solus wasn't here. We need to, and Curtis is in the Discord. We got to go check out his art. So it's always good to just boil it down and remember we're all just trying to make it by. And we're trying to do it without these sheep in wolves' clothing. They're not wolves in sheep clothing. They're sheep in wolves' clothing trying to mislead us. And when we can have conversations and get to the heart of the issues and realize that we're all just trying to be better people. And we're all just some of us, so that's what I was saying earlier. This is a great way to wrap it up. Because I was starting to say something about earlier when there was some heated dialogue going on. And the thing is, and this is no commentary on the dialogue or anybody involved in this. It's just something I've observed in life, most particularly about myself. So what I observed is in my later years, my older years, I look back at people like Kurt Cobain and I study his life, not only reading, but watching things and trying to hear people who were close to him talk about him. And what I recognize as a mature adult or a more adult, maturer person, if that ain't fucking irony, I don't know what is. Me trying to explain that. But when looking back at my age now on Kurt Cobain, I have this, and same with Tupac. I do this with Tupac and Kurt Cobain. As I look back on their lives, and remember, Tupac died at 25, and Kurt died at 27, I believe. So these guys didn't even make it to 30 years old, right? And these two men had these strong convictions, had this knowledge that was almost a supreme, touched, ordained by God kind of awareness of humanity, and a compassion and a love and a conviction for their community, their brothers, their sisters, their neighbors, just everyone around them, that as an adult, I still struggle to be at that level. And these people had it at 25 and 27 and before that. And they were like stood strong in those convictions. And when I was that age, I was nowhere near there. You know, it took me a long time and many things that had to happen to me. I had to experience a lot of life to get there. And I'm envious of that at times. Like, I'm so envious that at such a young age, they had such a profound understanding of these deep convictions. And like, they stood in them and they were confident in them and they knew. And that's such a radical thing. And they weren't wrong. Like, Kurt is 100% right. This isn't an opinion when he says, like, don't buy our records if you're a misogynist, homophobe, or racist. Like, that is the correct thing to do. You know, he comes from a punk underground upbringing where punks were supposed to be accepting of anyone and everyone regardless of talent, and it was a very like homemade, welcoming environment to be a punk. So he was correct in his beliefs and he stood firm in that. And you don't get many 20-something-year-old people that confident when they got records to sell. Because, you know, even Michael Jordan said, even Republicans buy my shoes. So meaning the almighty dollar is what they worship. And Kurt didn't worship that, just like Tupac didn't worship the almighty dollar. They had something greater that they worshiped, God. And I mean that as in God, as in like loving one another. God's idea of success is helping others. It's on my dad's grave. Gravestone. So I had this real deep appreciation of these two men as humans. And I can't be hard on myself because I didn't have that same understanding and wherewithal and awareness and conviction at that age. It took me a while to learn it. And that's how I look at a lot of people who maybe aren't there yet. Again, this is no commentary on anything tonight. That's how I look at people when I see people like vehemently defending Trump or buying into lies, or like they haven't had to experience life in a certain way that allowed them to have the wool pulled out from over their eyes. You know, a lot of people live life in this little bubble. I see it mostly with like the Donald Trumps, the Elon Musks, like these insecure men that fearmonger, that believe, oh, the housing crisis is this, or again, not necessarily that, but stuff like that. Well, yeah, that's another thing. One was counseling session. 100%. But when I think of, you know, there's some people that just have these convictions, but it's usually rooted in something, you know, like their life experience, whether this or past, gave them that gift. And you can't blame people all the time when they don't have that gift or they haven't been, and this is where it gets weird, when they aren't fortunate enough to experience such pain that they have compassion for others, you know, because that's how you get it. You know, when you experience a true pain, true hurt in this life, some people will go wild and out and want to take that pain out on others. But I believe more than not, people who have genuinely come from the gutter, genuinely lived through these horrible experiences, it develops this empathy where you want to protect people from it. You never want people to go through that. And it gives you that, and like traveling. There's a few different things. I don't want to get too far off topic, but sometimes people just aren't there yet, you know? They still have to work it out, and that's why conversations are so important, because when you live in a spot where you maybe think there's a debate to it, and really the debate or the conversation that needs to be had over the issue is that it's not a conversation, again, if that makes sense. Like if you're saying like, hey, I got to tackle every issue individually and I need to hear both sides, and sometimes somebody needs to come along and say there isn't two fucking sides. Sometimes that needs to happen and wake you the fuck up out of it. I think about my cousin John Brown, the abolitionist who sparked the Civil War, and how half this country was going, we need to debate slavery and we need to debate this, and the South was going, we're going to leave if you take away slavery. And my cousin came in and said, there's no fucking debate. I rewrote the Constitution. You can't say that all men are created equal and then have slaves. He said, you're all hypocrites, and this country will pay the price by shedding blood on both sides. You should look into John Brown's story. Very fascinating. If you're in the Discord, I recommended his autobiography, or yeah, his biography, not autobiography, his biography. It's a great read. And he was one of those people that came in and just said, there's no debate. You silly, foolish people think there's a debate because you've allowed yourself to believe there's a debate. There's no debate on slavery. It's wrong, and that's that. And he went to war over that. You can get along with the stranger who shares other interests, come to a halt when politics come up, yeah. But that's the art of all of this, the art of conversation. All right, guys, I gotta wrap this up. I appreciate you guys working it out. And again, join the Discord. We can continue to discuss, but I encourage people to have discussions, and if, you know, something gets personally upsetting, detach from it. Remember, it's conversations that will push us forward. Good night, G-Ma. Good night, Curtis. Bandito, good to see you. Glad you guys could all make it. And hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll be live again tomorrow at some point, probably in the morning, because I want to go down to the beach, do live from the beach. I think it's going to be like 80 degrees tomorrow. My God, mid-September, 80 degrees. Everybody have a great night. Peace.